game. This is EG versus CEDC.
Honestly, it's not about us. It's about the players and aggressive. The Lifestealer, it was a really YOLO pick. Like, this is a hero that, again, we haven't seen in quite some time. They probably have played it a few times. Like, you don't YOLO this. This might just be a strategy that they've kind of tailored themselves around at one point or another.
Generally, when you see Lifestealer picks, you look for that vehicle, but there has been the interesting change where you can take over the Ancients. I know Loda experimented with the Radiance creep and just kind of ran around, like slowly burning down enemy heroes, but by the time he got the Radiance, they could also just kill the creep fairly quickly. Have you gotten to see much Lifestealer lately? Any thoughts on like how they might look to use it? Because obviously it's not like the old style, you know, back when you were relevant and Storm Spirit was getting picked, where you infest him and then look to jump in. He doesn't really have a great vehicle.
No, he doesn't this game. I guess the Tusk Snowball might be the second best thing that he's got going for him, and the Bounty Hunter Invis, you can set some interesting angles up for that, but what I really think this pick comes down to is a hero that can still get the right click off, has a lot of mobility against the Doom when he eventually will Doom him, and can do well against the Clockwork.
Yeah, and there is a bit of a change up here with Sumail taking over the Doom as well. So a lot of adjustments. Of course, EG has shown quite a bit of versatility as of late in terms of the ability to switch up Sumail and Arteezy. They ran the Doom off lane last game. They're not afraid to mix up the lanes here in order to try and get the better matchup. So with that, the bounty runes are grabbed, and we're into it, folks. It's EG versus CEDC, Game 2. The boys in blue looking for the 2-0, and CEDC looking to force that deciding game number 3. The good news for the CDEC fans, Shiki will be on a very comfortable hero, one he has single-handedly won many a game for them with. On the Lina, gets the better creep block here off the bat. Arteezy probably not going to be too happy about that, and does have to worry about that early pressure from Garter, though. In fact, he's not there, and he is scouted, so Arteezy can play a little more confidently.
Something really interesting here is that in the last game I felt that objectively EG had the better draft, and they had to take some heroes as a result that they weren't 100% comfortable with. Like the Timbersaw, I know Sumail's been playing a lot more of, but still not something that we quite know him for. Maybe after this tournament we'll start thinking about it, but this time around it feels like both teams got the draft that they wanted.
I mean, Sumail likes to play aggressive, right? And Doom is definitely that kind of hero. You get the safe lane farm, you can just run at fools very early on, so could end up being something that really suits his play style, even if it's not a go-to for him. So early on, we see great farm for Arteezy, and they did manage to D-ward up towards the Dire jungle at the very least. I think they may have suspected the Bounty Hunter was scouted just because Arteezy was playing so confidently in the lane, but already the damage somewhat done here as he has gotten 7 CS this early versus Lina with the better creep block. That's a great start.
That's incredibly surprising for me just because the Lina is able to zone out pretty heavily with the Light Strike array, and you can almost never trade with the SF in the early game because you just don't have the stats to do so. Like 47 damage a hit, plus the fact that you don't want to really use the raise just to harass.
Lane. They are going on Universe here. He's dropping quite low. He cogs himself in with Garter. A rare first blood for Universe. The Bounty normally known for the pressure on the mid lane, but he strikes top. It is only a Clock who is still getting his experience, but a nice start here for CEDC.
I really like that the Bounty Hunter decided to start on that top lane and focus on shutting down Universe. I feel like too few teams do this to Universe. They don't often take him out of his comfort zone. And most importantly, most of the time you're going to have the sentry lane in the mid lane. And so the Bounty Hunter's rotations aren't as effective. You notice that Arteezy, he was forced to grab his bottle by the mid tier 2 tower. So you've already kind of slowed down his pace a little more than he would like. And with this sentry mid, the Bounty Hunter's not going to have quite the impact that he wants, but he does have boots, he has the Janata available.
And he can scout the stacks, and Garter is headed that way.
Yes. Most importantly though, in case the Flying Courier comes in, you've got opportunities there as well with your level 2.
Can they make a go here on Arteezy? He might be able to come through the trees, but Arteezy playing behind the tower. You can see he doesn't scout that Bounty Hunter. In fact, a couple of heroes missing. He may notice something's up here when the stack doesn't work. No, he's just going to start. Okay, does drag the creeps back with the raise. Tanks a early auto attack from the Bounty, and probably should realize soon enough this is warded.
Yeah, and this is going to help Shiki get a little bit more traction in this lane. Like you said in the beginning, Arteezy was getting a little bit too much, but with this stack being blocked and the Bounty Hunter forcing the SF back to the base, it's going to give him a little bit more free room to farm, get a little bit more ahead as you want to see Lina do against the Shadow Fiend mid.
There's the TP back in, and Arteezy will rejoin lane. Already So they have 13-0, but Shiki with the Bounty Hunters movement towards mid and the lack of vision has really started to pull ahead now. 19-7, as you would expect, having a powerful start. The Doom, meanwhile, of Sumail, having a great time bottom lane. We're not going to see any of that early Midas rush today. It's all about the upgraded boots, sometimes even the drums, the early aggression, and Sumail appears to be headed that way. Does have the Hurl Boulder now, so a little bit of initiation available for him. They're going to move in on mid. No more Sentry for Artur. Has to be careful here. A Lina stun could really set things up, but no boots yet on Shiki. Trying to make the move. Good juke back, but he knows just how dangerous the matchup is.
Yeah, as soon as you get hit by the stun, the Bounty Hunter's right there. I doubt they're able to kill him, but you really want to be careful if you're Arteezy. Just play the passive farming game, and you've got really dangerous supports on the side of EG.
You almost expect the Shadow Fiend to die once or twice to this. You know, it's like almost part of the game plan in a way. It's just so hard to stop it.
Once you get to treads, you're okay.
Yeah.
Before that point, though, things are a little bit dangerous. And that's why, even if you're missing out on a little bit of farm like the SF is, it's okay because, like you said, if you're expected to die, you're going to just play incredibly defensively and make sure that that doesn't happen. Don't feed away those crucial levels. They're going to make the move on Q, though, and there's no way he expects this.
Oh, Night Stalker joining the party. Not even really required here, but will help secure the kill. EG, as soon as that nighttime hits, a quick jump towards top. They bring down the Visage, and we saw last game just how much Q can do with farm on any support. I've seen it on a Silencer. We normally see it on the Visage, and we even saw on the AA last time, but this time around, he will be slowed down a bit early, and now the pressure comes to Aggressive's lane. This was the big question mark. We didn't really get to discuss it too much as Universe starts to take some damage here. Aggressive's going to go in on this one, and Infest, get me out of here. He will run away and pops right back out, but it's denied the kill. Still EG, 3 heroes top, and I do want to point out, Arteezy, this ward still has not been dewarded, and they've put up another observer near the camp closer towards the mid-tier 1, so he's not getting that big economic boost you often see for the Radiant Shadow Fiend.
No, they've done a really good job of game planning around this fact, and I was a little bit surprised when they let the SF just go through because this is an Arteezy special. Plus EG are on the Radiant side. This usually kind of just spells the fact that they're almost immediately going to first pick it. And so CDEC, they came with a game plan though. The Sentry ready, the Bounty Hunter's going to be the one to place it. If he was any other support, maybe he gets spotted and killed, or maybe it's not as effective. But the Bounty Hunter, this is a hero that's meant to just time consume. You don't necessarily need levels, because all you really need is the track up. Like, this hero is meant to just slow down other heroes so that your team is okay with fighting 4-on-5.
They are poking their heads out here towards the top lane. Garter making the ping out, but I don't know if he's actually seen Universe, who has tucked himself deep inside the tree line. As he will plant down a lane ward. It is nighttime, so was not scouted. And then backs himself away. The vision here is just immaculate, really, for CDEC at this stage. Gives them a lot of freedom elsewhere. But still, the 2 big cores on EG Blitz, they are farming quite well.
Yeah, they've done a really good job so far of setting up the lanes. The Doom is naturally just going to win in CS, because you get a free CS every 60 seconds. And the Tusk, this isn't a hero that's meant to zone out by any means, as he's going to get pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, has managed to crack that level 5, but with the slight bit of early pressure, once the Doom gets the phase boots and even just the level 2 Scorched Earth, let alone level 3. Life is hard versus Doom, so he hugs the tower. It's basically free farm for Sumail. That said, it is nighttime, and that's coming to an end fairly soon. And perhaps that's the point where CDEC start to get more active on the map. Still curious to see what they do with the lifestealer, and well, he's going to TP bottom, so perhaps this will answer the question. It's a bounty in Vespa.
Alright, so this was the other vehicle that we were talking about, right? This is the less reliable one, but possibly the easier one to set up, as they can kill Doom pretty quickly.
They sneak up on Sumail. They are going to isolate him. He gets off the boulder. Now he's going to get the double Doomling. Mini shard toss. Oh, so adorable. But dead all the same.
There's a lot of dead Doom buddies on the ground right now. But
watching that Bounty Hunter walk in was like watching you learn how to ride a bike, Will. But it worked in the end.
I mean, then unlike the bike, I wasn't able to do that one.
I guess my analogy falls apart there.
Yeah.
Did you never really learn?
No, I couldn't. Did Kevin not tell you what happened? I tried going off on a curb, and I hit my genitals against the handlebar really hard because I panicked. And instead of helping me up, Purge just watched me and started laughing and trying to record it.
Get the camera, Mom. Oh dear. But it is a very clever way to use that infest. And I like the fact this is a total switch from last game. We talked about it early. The analysts really, I think, broke it down more that Aggressive was not going around the map creating space. He was very much running for his life. As we do see, Fear trying to dive Q top lane. Does get off the Grave Chill here. It is a hasted Night Stalker, only level 4 though. And does have to fight through that Gravekeeper's Cloak. But I like the fact they're getting Aggressive involved early, basically.
No, this is what they needed in the previous game. Is Aggressive isn't the type of hero that just wants to sit in the lane, farm non-stop. You want to try to play aggressive on this side of the map, but the Doom comes out.
Tanks the Doom. It's only a bounty hunter. Still a nice pick for EG, but I mean, hey, at least it's not one of your big heroes.
Yeah, keeping your life steal alive right now is the priority, but something that is a little bit worrying for CEDEC is that they haven't been able to pressure the Shadow Fiend quite yet, but another Infest comes out. This time it's on XZ. They're gonna bait the Tusk a little bit, but if nobody decides to go on this might just be a waste of time.
It's always the risk when you see a lifestealer pick. Used to be a big problem for a lot of teams was balancing how often do you want to be infested and ganking versus how often are you farming. So far hasn't been that much time investment, but if Fear backs off now and dodges this, they're not even going to waste it. They just decide to go back to farming creeps.
Yeah, that was a full minute of commitment. That's about enough time. At that anymore, you're just kind of, even if you get the kill at that point, it's going to be a level 4 Night Stalker, right? It's not even really worth the investment.
And Sumail continues to farm it up bottom. The Shadow Fiend, yeah, they shut down Arteezy early game, but now sits at 74 CS, right there with the Lina, dead even on net worth. But CEDEC do look to amplify the pressure here. Their big source of sieging early, that's the Visage. Has the Familiars out now, and here comes the push.
EG, they're going to go for the pressure on the other side of the map, though, at the same time. And this is a much more balanced CEDEC that we've seen in this game, as opposed to the last one where it felt like because the laning phase went so bad, they were never able to really catch their footing and get aggressive on the map.
Yeah, they were very reactionary that time. Not that they really had a choice, but that's just not the style they're used to playing.
You want to be able to set your pace against a team like EG. You don't want to just play off of what they're doing. You don't want to play off their map movements. And this is the way that you're going to beat them. Just show them no respect.
Maybe a little respect.
Nah, man.
No respect. Just start banging on the window of the booth.
I really think when you're playing against a team like this, you can't just overly think to yourselves, this is the TI5 champions. You have to kind of say, if we play our style and we're able to execute,
yeah,
we can win this game.
Oh yeah, in that sense, I definitely agree. So it is going to be drums up for Aggressive. Looks like the old YYF build here. Let's see if he wants the Sanjin Yasha. Often do see the armlet picked up as well. Or does he go for something different? Any other unconventional items that we could expect to see on the Lifestealer, do you think?
I think the YYF build is probably most typical. Just going to go for the mobility rather than the armlet or anything like that, especially when you're playing against a Doom, right? Like, you have armlet on plus your Doom running, you're going to die really quickly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I imagine he is probably the Doom target here most of the time.
It's probably going to be the Lina, because most of the time the way that I balance it out in my head anyways is how much damage does a hero do versus how tanky they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lina is incredibly weak. Even with the Yule Scepter, this isn't the greatest item when it comes to defensive positions, because as soon as you use the Yule Scepter on yourself, you're still Lina with 900 HP, not a lot of armor, right? And you're stuck in the position that you were before. Like, this is meant to be an offensive item by all means.
Oh, they bring in the Familiars. This could be the setup here. 1 stun, 2 stuns on Fear, but is that the hero you want to jump? Tanky and only a support? Seems no, but EG are going to look to farm these. Another round of charge. This time they're going to go. They try to use the Familiars as bait. Uppercut comes in on the Fear. He's still very tanky, and Lifestealer is going to engage into the fight. Tries to go. Pops out into the Infest, and will look to retreat. Still nobody dead just yet. A lot of spells committed. Everybody walks away. What did Sumail doom there? Was it a creep? Or?
No, he doomed the Lina.
Okay.
He made sure that Fear wasn't opened up on with the ultimate.
Gotcha.
And I think that was the right decision because EG didn't really have a way to get in on that angle. So they just said, okay, we'll use the Doom to disengage and force CEDEC back.
Still emerges intact, and, well, both teams reset. Does anybody actually look to fight now? We also didn't see Universe in that one. Has the hookup now.
Yeah, I don't think he had the best angle, and he wasn't quite there yet.
Oh, they do scout him, but they want to pressure. They want towers. They're using the Familiars here. CEDEC marching in. There's a glyph ready, but they've already cleared out the trees, and EG... Quite a big swamp from game 1. It's CEDEC making all the early moves. It's EG mostly forced to give up objectives, but they are still farming quite well.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job so far of scouting out vision, making sure that Arteezy is getting free farm during this time, and this is the type of hero that Arturo really likes to play, the ones that can kind of just force out the waves immediately, just with 1 or 2 abilities, and create space for himself. And you notice that he's used the Helmet Dominator to grab this Harpy Stormcrafter, who's got fantastic vision for a neutral creep. Like, look how far along it can see. And this is going to help him just farm out the jungle repeatedly. Like, look at the position that he's taken so far.
Oh,
he might just get caught out.
Oh, Arteezy really playing with fire there.
But this forced a lot of rotation.
I mean, that was the creep, though, you know? If he didn't see that snowball coming a split second earlier, he may just die there. There's a dust pop bottom. Universe is going to engage onto Garter. Does find the bounty hunter. Looks like it should be a freebie. And indeed, the bounty will go down. Still looking for his level 6. Nice pick off there.
But the Lina is getting opened up on in the river, or the SF.
No. In the end, it's Arteezy who does get punished. So a nice trade there. CDEC lose their bounty hunter. Do manage to grab the Shadow Fiend. Arteezy's still on top of the net worth chart. I mean, the man knows how to farm. That is for damn sure. But does die now. And CDEC, if history is our guide, they may look for a push off of that. Maybe not yet.
Yeah, despite how much farm he's been able to get and how greedy he's been, this Lina has done such a good job of keeping up, and you can tell that Shiki, his other heroes are good, but his Lina really kind of sets him apart. Like, this is the hero that you can tell he's the most comfortable on, and for Lina to be ahead in net worth against a Shadow Fiend who had some ancient stacks, had some jungle stacks, and was playing incredibly aggressively at top.
And he's gone for the Dominator, he's gone for the more aggressive build. Mid lane though, there's a stun onto Fear. Out comes the Slave, a couple more auto attacks, eats that one last one, and gets the kill. Shiki really starting to heat up. We have seen this before out of CDEC. When he gets going, it is very hard to stop.
Yeah, this is going to create a lot more space for Aggressive, who can kind of focus on farming a little bit more than he did in that previous game.
Are they actually trying to do this?
This is why you're seeing
these items allow them to. They've got the Vlads, they have the Dominator, the minus armor, but it's very risky.
I don't think you throw the Wave of Terror right now. You just allow for the natural DPS of the Shadow Fiend and the Crit Wolf Doom to be able to tank this up for you.
This would be the second Radiant snuck Roshan in what looks like a pretty bad position. We saw it yesterday from Unknown. It seems this was the go-to play for the American teams. Arteezy will grab the Aegis. Do they get out? Xy's on the hunt. He trucks out the shards. It's a catch only on PPD though. Sumail on the other side of it. Arteezy down in the river. They are going to isolate Garter, bring down the bounty hunter as well. And Sumail just kind of watches. There was a jump in from Universe, but he's fighting into a lot of firepower. They doom Shiki after the Laguna Blade, and CDEC try to deathball this, but Arteezy is getting off so many raises in this fight. In fact, pop back out, try to commit onto Sumail. There's an armlet on Aggressive, but he is silenced currently.
Oh, he's not going to get it.
He gets up the range just barely, but can he armlet toggle this? Snowball coming in, he does. He toggles in. Aggressive, still range. Can he toggle again? Yes, he will. Jumping onto Fear, the Familiars finish the job. They've gotten 4. It's Arteezy against the world. Can he get that raise? He wants it. He wants it bad. There's another rage available. Pops it. Familiar stun. And will disengage. Masterful play there by Xy with the snowball. And the armlet toggling blitz, he was on point.
That was unbelievable. The amount of pressure that he was under in that fight. If he goes down right there, EG take a lot of the momentum. I am just blown away right now. The ability for him to do that while he's getting earn-ticked at the same time as the SF's trying to throw out the right clicks, manages to hit it every single time.
And he's got to worry about the raises, which will kill him even shortly after the armlet toggle if the rage isn't up. That was impressive. Still, EG did get the Roshan, so all is not lost. They still hold on to the Aegis for Arteezy, but the graphs do dip now, and Track is in the picture. At long last, Garter has cracked level 6. And right on the back of that CDEC, they waste no time. It's smoking up. That Doom is still cooling down. It is daytime. Smoke's gonna get revealed. They know somebody's around the corner. Do they find someone? It's Sumail off the bat. He's got the Alpha Wolf here. He's a big source of damage, but he's also a big source of gold to see that quickly mow him down. And we'll wrap up onto the tower.
I think EG have to just give this up. Shiki still has this combo available. You don't even want to go for the deny or anything like this. It's a little bit too risky. If the Eul Scepter hits you, just because of the numbers advantage, CDEC will swarm and go for you. And EG, they've done a pretty good job so far of not allowing for track kills. They make sure that Garter dies in the beginning of the fight, but maybe it's too big of a commitment as they're just getting a little bit clumped around the map.
He's like, oh yeah, I can infest ancients. Let me try this out.
You gotta test it out.
Of course, he took
Takes like the worst one.
He took the most damaged one. This is how you look to taunt EG. It does deny a bit of farm though, which is kind of nice.
He's got no HP. I think they maybe want to look for this. It's a little bit obvious. This stands out a little bit.
Hey guys, how's it going? You forgot about me! Jumping onto PPD, has the rage going, and is going to engage. Can't finish anyone off yet, but the snowball coming in with the shards is sufficient. Universe also isolated, looks for the hook. He does, but it's a death hook. His last words before going down. Aggressive has the rage soon. Does he look for more? They've managed to get 2 tracks out now. EG. You know, Blitz, one thing we haven't really discussed. This EG lineup is not very good at holding towers if they're playing from behind like this.
Most importantly, they don't really have the disables they need, and the initiation isn't quite there. Everybody from CDEC, they move so quickly, LD. You've got a Yule Scepter on one hero, the multiple tracks, the ability for this team to engage and disengage immediately. It makes it hard for you to utilize the net worth of the Shadow Fiend, because what ends up happening is, it almost looks like for a second they overcommit, but Arteezy just can't chase anybody.
And as farmed as the Shadow Fiend is, it almost feels like they're just able to ignore him in these fights. Yeah, he's got the Aegis. Yeah, he's still the leader in net worth. But they just kind of fought around him there. Oh, this time they might fight onto him. They do use the open wounds here. Arteezy tries to turn, go for the auto attack. They uppercut Sumail, swapped, and tries to get up the Doom. He will have to do so, but again the Laguna Blade quick on the draw. Shiki is going to look to skate his way out of here. Sumail, timing on, is going to survive. Arteezy laid out. The Raze is standing through it all. They bring down the Tusk. The Lina should barely make it out, it seems. But CDEC are thwarted, and now they're going to lose. Potentially Infected is already a second. They get the Goblin. Bounty Hunter down as well. And that CDEC lead, a frantic scramble. I mean, you said swarming, and it was starting to feel like a 6-pull with just like a horde of Zerglings rushing at the enemy base, but EG, they've stabilized a bit now.
Because for once, you were able to... Wow, Q. In that last game, the Ancient Apparition was on point throughout most of that game, and this time again, he's proved to be a thorn in EG's side, but this time around, the reason why the fight went okay is because CDEC actually opened up on Arteezy, and they realized, okay, we're not killing him fast enough, plus he has the Aegis, but by the time they kind of started diverting their attention away, he had already done a lot of damage to them.
Game is going to settle down a bit now, and in all of that chaos, it is, I think, very important to note that CDEC got down some great deep wards here. Now, we'll see if these result in much. Currently, Darkness has been employed, so not particularly effective, but EG bringing 3 heroes towards top. What's next for Arteezy? Is he just going to totally skip a BKB this game, do you think, Blitz, or does he go back for it at some point?
It's difficult to go for one just because the Lina will eventually go for an Aghanims on her own, and speaking of the Lina's build, she actually has a BKB. This is such a significant item because even if she gets doomed, she can just kind of run out, reset the fight as long as she doesn't get stunned. And
she's gotten off her spells before the Doom every fight.
No, Shiki's done an amazing job this game. He actually has. The fact that he's kept up in net worth, the amount of impact that he's had, I don't think a Doom has actually killed him yet. Yeah, his positioning this game has been relatively flawless.
And they've had to commit a lot even to keep Sumail in the fights. PPD's had to swap him out, sacrifice his own life a lot of times, and even then he just barely gets off. Part of it, I guess, is the new, well, not new, but the changed cast animation from a while back. It does get a little bit trickier to pop it off.
I do think, though, that you have to get it at some point just because of the Visage Birds and the Tusk Snowball. You want to try to avoid the stuns, and you need to be able to get on top of people. So you probably just build up your HP pool, and he's done so by picking up the SNY. And by going for the BKB right after, it's probably the best idea. You can even go for something like a Butterfly first if you're able to take the Roshan again.
I like the siege creep mid. Just chilling. Yeah, having a little vacation up on the high ground.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, it's there for moral support more than anything. The creep wave will run in and die, but the siege creep just stands strong. Yeah, kind of hangs out in that mid lane.
The Lifestealer, again, he's just chilling in Garter. They're waiting around. And the SF's going to take a tower for this. It's been about a minute since he's been in here. They haven't been able to find anything, but it doesn't look like they want to give this up quite yet.
Yeah, this is a long, and this is the danger when you go for these plays, especially when you don't have a Storm or maybe a Bat Rider like that hero that can roll in from super long range. This is your pedestrian Lifestealer. The vehicle's actually slower than the hero.
The one good thing, though, about this is that you can walk past wards.
Yes. Oh, this could be big.
Okay, this is just more time. They're going to miss out on this. I think this is around the time you give it up. Yeah, Yep.
That would have been huge for CDEC. They did have the shuriken to cancel that TP, but didn't see it. Good place to get out of there for Arteezy. And it is going to be a BKB for him. Perhaps sees the Lina of Shiki, did not rush the Ags, did get his own BKB first, so now Arteezy becomes the big bulwark for EG in these fights. He's been virtually unkillable. Let's see if this is the time where they look to group up.
I think it's incredibly important for him to get one. You're noticing that he's getting kited too often in these fights, and it might take him a little bit too long to get that ultimate off as well. So you just want to make sure that you're utilizing your ultimate off the bat, make it hard for them to kite by slowing them down with it, go for the chase. Make yourself a target in the middle of the fight for your team to fight around. The problem right now for me, though, is
there's the hook. That's the problem for Shiki. Gets hooked, but the BKB helps him out of it here. It won't help him against physical damage. He gets up the Yules, but then the Requiem awaits him on the way down. Swapped back in by PPD, making the plays. They're getting doomed next, and potentially even more here. Running for his life is Garter. Familiar's gonna get cleaned up. And they did not actually end up deploying the Doom there, but didn't need it. Just that quick hook from Universe. No way out for the Lina.
They did such a good job of isolating him, making sure that they didn't have to use the Doom on him that time. And this is going to allow Sumail to open up on aggressive like he does right now.
Jumps in. Fear's going to chase this one out. Has the silence. They've got the lockdown. And they get the kill. EG patient, even while CDEC was mounting their offensive. And now they've clawed this game back to dead even. And it might even go their way after this tower when the graph updates. It's shooting straight up there in their favor. Roshan also just now respawning.
That was an unusual lapse in judgment for aggressive. Because if I read that situation instantly, it should have crossed his mind. Because Shiki should have told him, you know, they didn't use Doom for me. They're actually just waiting to hold on to it. Watch out, but
look at how quick this Roche drops. Are they thinking about it? There is a rocket onto XZ, a warning shot from Universe, and then they jump in. The Roche will end up going down.
Shiki's on the other side, though.
He rolls the other direction. The backup does come from Shiki, but at the same time, they're giving up the Aegis against Sumail. That's a track kill for a lot of heroes. They look to jump in the pit with the Familiars too late. Track is there on Fear, though. Double stun. So they have another snowball. 3 seconds, looking for the TP out. He will make it. So they get the 1 track kill. There was a lot of heroes involved in that one, but was it really enough? Doesn't seem like it.
No, it only costs you your Doom, and you would just kill the Lifestealer.
You get the Aegis, you don't lose it. Shadow Fiend doesn't die. And you also deprive CDEC of the Aegis.
Yeah. The good news, though, for CDEC is that the Lina is about to have the Aghanim Scepter. This is going to cut through a lot of the Shadow Fiend's health. Even with that BKB and that SNY, Arteezy's got to be careful once that Aegis fades.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of players will even go into like more HP items if they see that Ags. You know, I have Scotty, Satanic, perhaps, just so that you don't get comboed down. And that is something CDEC are a bit lacking on. Is aside from the Lina stun, I mean, how much disable do they really have unless they get incredible familiar stuns from Q? It's tough to prevent them from popping something like a Satanic.
They don't necessarily have to gear up quite yet, and they want to deal with all of the lanes first before they go for it. Q's done such a good job of pushing out the lanes. He's almost got an Aghanims on his own. Quite surprising, but I mean, it's Q. Nothing's really surprising when it comes to item timings for a 4 position like this guy.
He is certainly impressive. Universe also working on his own Aghanim Scepter. Could see quite a few of them coming out this game. 27 minutes in. Bit of a lull here in the action. The teams are going to reset, look for their next items. For CDEC, probably trying to wait out that Aegis, as we do see an ultimate orb grabbed by Arteezy. Looks like he wants to continue to pile up the stats. And I am still wondering what's next for Aggressive. We saw a couple of early movements. He is 3-1 and 5, but it feels like his impact in this game has slowed down quite a bit. Whereas you know Doom, as long as he presses R, is always going to be relevant.
The Lifestealer just has had such a tough time, because half the time he's balancing over-farming from catching up from those failed gank attempts, and the other times he's just been inside the Bounty Hunter looking for those openings, but they just haven't been able to find it. They don't want to give up this tier 2 for free. They feel like they can maybe go for this fight.
Oh, they're scouting so much in the trees, and now the hook comes. They were expecting this jump in. They get up the Doom on Aggressive, but he's on the other side of the cog, so he backs out Arteezy. Over-committing a bit with the BKB here. It looks like everyone from CDEC should be able to retreat. The Doom's committed. The BKB's down. They maybe want to get the tower and get out. No, they don't even go for that. Instead, familiar hunting. It's time to Safari, but now the chase the other way. Lina trying to get that extra bit of move speed. They even pop a smoke just to retreat quicker. AG knew that that could have been a disastrous turn if they stuck around, but they do get out in time.
I do like that they used the Doom for aggressive, just to take him out of the fight. I think they realized that even though the Lina is a priority target, she just doesn't stand up very well to the physical right-click damage of Arteezy. What Arteezy's going for right now is he pops the BKB, he's got enough physical damage to make the Lina run away anyways, and it just seems like aggressive is more of the issue, where he was able to armlet toggle for such a long time, and killing him with just physical damage didn't really seem like it was doing the job.
So with the way the game's developed, Blitz, it's been back and forth, pretty close the whole way. CDEC had that big lead of 6,000 gold, but it was for a very short period of time, so I wouldn't really say they held it for much of this game. Do you feel like either team has a clear late game advantage? What are your kind of bullet points here for what each team needs to do to win the game?
I feel like for CDEC, you just have to make sure that whenever you get into a fight, your bounty hunter has at least 1 or 2 tracks off, just so that you can get the momentum swing going the other way, and to make sure that your focus is on killing the heroes that have the disables. Like, you can kind of ignore Arteezy for a little bit unless you're able to just instantly initiate jump on him before he has the Aegis. But other than that, we saw in the previous fights what they did is they ignored Arteezy for the most part. They got rid of the 1 or 2 stuns that EG had, and then they were able to just play the kite game. For EG, the game plan is probably get Arteezy into the center of the fights, let him BKB, just start that up, get a good Doom target simultaneously as the hook shot comes in. Because we saw in that last fight, when that's even half a second delayed, they just run away and disengage. You have to make sure that your core, you have a lot of synergy between those 2 abilities.
And the tricky thing is, even if let's say you get the perfect jump on Arteezy, if you don't blow him up right away, there's the swap. It's only level 1. Now that level 1 swap's a bit better nowadays, 700 range, but gets up to level 2. Could be tough to focus him down.
Yeah, the other scary element that we haven't really talked about either enough in detail is that the Visage, he's got almost 3 birds available to him. And once that happens, he can just kind of assault the backlines, make sure that PPD is kind of feeling harassed at all times. They don't have something like a mech to help him out either.
And drive him away from Arteezy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the game plan for CDEC. And try to build up an overwhelming gold lead. Get a few track kills off, that's all it takes.
And for EG to only have that 2,500 gold lead. They may not know exactly, I imagine they realize it's pretty close, up against track. There's no rest for the weary. CDEC are not going to make this easy. They start to move now into the Radiant jungle. They're confident to push in. Aggressive will engage the Rage here. Just to focus the tower down a bit quicker. There's a rocket the other direction. Arteezy struts down mid. Looking swag as ever as he looks to clear out this wave, possibly even threaten the high ground a bit, but CDEC do grab
they don't have the glyph once again.
Uh-oh, this is a lot of damage to be given up freely. Can they even slightly punish it? That Aegis still has quite a bit of time on it.
This is much more damage.
CDEC did get the gold, but EG got closer to the big objective coming from behind now. Oh, it's the bounty hunter of Garter. They've been giving a lot of these birds away, actually. I feel like
the control has to be a little bit better.
5 or 6 go down. And Arteezy looking for even more. Can they engage? Track goes out, but it's on the hero that's the hardest to bring down. They open wounds Arteezy again, just trying to slow him, but they don't want to fight into this Aegis. The problem is they may not have a choice. There's the eggs. This could be the item. Now they're looking to set up. They want to bring him down once, probably without using that ultimate if possible. But Shiki is going to end up getting caught out here, focused, and brought down. He doesn't have the buyback ready, and now time for round 2. Artur unloads the Spirit Bomb and rushes in. They swap that Q. They're going to get a 2-for-1. All of a sudden, EG, they fire up another round of familiars, almost entirely cleaning them out, and it's aggressive, charging in, looking to man-fight the Shadow Fiend. Damage? Does he? No, he runs, he turns tail, gets spanked by Arteezy on the way out. They lose another. They don't have the Lina buyback. They've lost the Lina. Bragg's here. And they're not done just yet. They track and rush forward looking for more Universe. Getting caught up. 4-step up to the high ground. Tries to retrain. Steady turns on PPD. They can't even kill him.
Oh, Aggressive alone.
And Aggressive has no rage. He does have the armor, but that's it. Can they hunt him down? Juking around the trees. Here, there. Swinging back, but PPD has a swap in 8 seconds. He's looking to go and gets up the stun. Rage still cooling out. Snowball through. On to 2. They need more firepower, it seems, though. The Shadow Fiend's doing too much work. Aggressive to the left, to the north. He's got to get the hell out of here. Needs to retreat.
You've got an armor toggle for your life.
Barely. Silent. Violet's still running. He does end up escaping, and now Fear. Maybe they get at least a track kill out of this. PPD's there. He's got the swap ready. That's the gem saved. And it's PPD almost out. EG hang onto their gem. They hang onto their Arteezy. They get the Rex. And they get a hell of a lot of gold out of that.
What a wild fight, though, by both teams. CDEC, for a second there, it looked like they were going to turn things around, but immediately rebuffed, and Aggressive just gets out by the skin of his teeth. At that point, if you die, you're probably too far behind as the lifestealer, because you saw what ends up happening. When he's the centerpiece of their team, he's the first one in, he just doesn't deal enough damage to repel anybody.
He needs, it feels like he needs like at least one, if not two more items at this point.
I think two minimum at this point.
Like AC, Abyssal maybe, but even then, if they just doom him instead, if the Lina gets caught by the clock, then maybe it's not enough. Such a big opening, though. They just deny Shiki off the bat, and it felt like CDEC's entire plan that fight, Will, was to kill Shadow Fiend once without blowing Laguna, and then just kill him on round 2 with the Laguna, but they lost the Lina, and any hope of that just disappeared.
Yeah, and while we were talking during the pause, that was the thing that we wanted to see, is the Clockwork and the Doom go off simultaneously as to give you absolutely no time. That created so much chaos in the fight, immediately losing Shiki. He bought that Aghanim knowing that they couldn't win the fight without it, but this might be their opportunity.
Quick blink out, Sumail ready with the reactions. They do get the open wounds off on Universe.
Oh, the cogs!
Charge. Everybody trapped in all kinds of weird places, but Universe gets swapped out. Will be kept alive. The Doom committed onto Shiki, who got up his BKB. As Arteezy runs in, starts laying into Q. Quickly gonna bring him down, and now looking for more. They get the stun up on Aggressive. Surrounded and beaten down. He'll fall as well, and they jump onto Garner. Looking for him. 2 EG. Clean out 3. And it might be Familiars Fest, the after course here. Dinner, perhaps not enough. No, they're going to let the Familiars go. Mercy for those. Perhaps not for XZ, though. Fear has just seen him with the eggs. He can void this. He can cancel it, and now the rest of the team is rushing
just going to run away.
There's no XZ for this. It's going to be 3-on-1, maybe 4-on-1 as they jump up. So they go straight for that second lane. No, they can't. There's tier 2s. Instead, they'll take the raid. No, they're going straight for the throne. EG looking for the killer instinct plays, trying to force out those buybacks. It's Lina against the world. Needs the tusk to help her out. Fear's getting stunned by Familiars as he tries to join the squad, but it might be too late. EG onto the tier 4s. They'll bring those down as well. A win here. They're into the top 3. Looking for the repeat and another huge Valve event with a slightly tweaked roster. Many doubted them, but EG are showing they
just
are
need
not
this
to be
one fight.
trifled with. There is a track on Universe right now. They snowball in. CDEC not giving up the goose just yet. XZ trying to hit on Arteezy. The tank, the linchpin in the front lines. He's way too big. He beats down XZ. They have the Laguna. They got him. They actually managed to slay the beast. And now Sumail jacked up as well. Has EG overextended. This could be huge. PPD on the run, popping the dust. That trick worked last time. It won't this time around as Fear will fall.
This might be 5 heroes with track.
This could be 5. My goodness, CDEC.
Wait for the track.
Give up the stun, the track, they got him too! PPD dead as well, it's a wipe!
Just look at the gold change!
CDEC! That is 7,100 gold changing hands. And you can see it, a very blunt peak as the graph plummets. But they do have an exposed throne with no glyph.
Really good reactions by EG. They realize at best this is a 2v5 defense. But CDEC, with a hold of their lives, they did such a good job of fighting around that SF BKB, waited things out for as long as they possibly could. Shiki was so patient with that ultimate, make sure that at the last possible second he's able to nab Artur. And EG, you're not going to run away from a lineup like this, especially not with track available. And now all of a sudden they're going to get the Aegis with the cheese on top. And if you give this to the Lina, she's almost always going to be able to get her ultimate off.
Eyes on Universe. Does he go for it?
There's no way he's going to be able to grab this.
Is it worth it? He's got a rocket soon. They're going to snowball into the pit. Rocket gets fired. And he's going to go for it. There's the hook. He gets the last hit. Where the hell is that damage? He couldn't even click it into chaos. And it's Lina who grabs it. Still, denies them a little bit of gold. Has the buyback in case it's necessary. And almost just completely snatched away CDEC's hopes and dreams.
If he was able to get that Aegis on top of the last hit,
he just retires the best Dota player ever.
All you need at that point is one fight, and he just secures his team the game right there.
You remember when Eternal Envy said that he's not in it to win one TI, he wants to win the most TIs ever? I think Universe might be in it to have the most swag plays at Roshan ever. He's already done it on their Shaker. Just time to add Clockwork to his repertoire.
For as much as we talk about that guy, I almost feel like we're still underrating him on this team. Because he's not that outside personality that really streams or puts himself out there, but he always manages to get the job done. But CDEC,
those are the scariest ones, the silent killers.
Yeah. They've done such a good job of holding in this game so far. We've given EG so much credit, but despite all of the mess-ups, they are going to be a little bit more ahead.
I mean, looking back at it, Blitz, now that we may have like a moment here to catch our breath, hopefully. Do you think it was just a straight up blunder to go for the tier 4? Should they have backed getting or because they could have gone tier 2s. They could have just pushed out the lanes, played it very safely. We might have a fight. Snowball onto Fear. They look to jump. Shiki's there as well. Does he want to commit that Laguna on this hero? Doesn't seem to. Arteezy is though on the track. He pops the BKB, and they look to bring out Shiki. Laguna already engaged, and Shiki is going to go down. That's just the Aegis, but they also lose their gem. The Bounty Hunter dead. Aggressive Doom kept out of the fight.
He doesn't have
quickly, it's going to turn into a 2v5 between the Doom, the dead Lina, who's only now respawned and looking to engage into this one. The lifesteal out of the picture. The Bounty Hunter dead as well. Q,
you have to win this fight.
To run, to hide. There's no escape from Arteezy. XC rolling out of the cogs, likely to be next. He snowballs. He gets the uppercut off. No escape. And Shiki even pops his head out of the base. That's the bold move. Tier 2.
Oh,
It's
Universe
actually still up, but they're going deeper. They're looking for the kills. No, back to the throne. Back where they started. And EG have done it. They take out CEDEC, their arch nemesis, 2-0. In a total reversal from the first time these teams met on the main stage of TI5.
And even though this game wasn't as clean as game 1, where that felt more like a draft loss, this felt more like a complete team win.
It really did. Everyone did their job. They put Sumail on a less comfortable hero, but he got the dooms he needed later on in the game, and they had great defensive swaps. Yeah, maybe they overextend a little bit.